It's a question that's plagued scientists for decades. How the heck did the Egyptians build the pyramids? I can barely build a Lego house. Hey everyone, Lacey Green here for D-News. The Egyptian pyramids are one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and humanity has been wondering, how on earth did these ancient people manage to move 2.5-ton stones and statues across the Valley of the Kings without the help of any modern equipment? I've heard theories ranging from specialized ramps to aliens doing it. When in doubt, aliens.
When in doubt, aliens, eh? Really? Really? I think it's more like when indoctrinated aliens. It's always aliens. But, you can't even build a Lego house. So, yeah. We're off to a good start, aren't we?
But that wasn't good enough for scientists, and they've kept digging on, only recently to discover the embarrassingly simple answer: water and sand. Dutch scientists believe that the Egyptians likely carried the blocks on sleds pulled by hundreds of workers. The sleds were little more than giant wood slats with upturned ends. As the sled moved, they would pour the water in front of it to ease the sliding friction of the sand. By pouring just enough water onto the sand, they cut the force required to move the sled in half. An international team based out of Amsterdam tested the theory using downsized models in a lab. They found that the ratio of water to sand was really important. Just like a sandcastle, if you add too much water to the sand, you're going to get a big pile of gloop. Optimal sand stiffness occurs when the water makes up about 2 to 5% of the volume of the sand.
Okay then. So, this is the test they did, is it? Can you see anything strange about it? So you have a look for a second. Okay. It would appear to me that the grains of sand are different. For starters, the ones that look like that are apparently supposed to be the water sand mix, obviously, is nice and level and being troweled down. If you look at the other one, it's all lumpy and everything. You would start with the same conditions, wouldn't you? As you see up the sides and around the back there, it's not level like the other one. Also, you can see that weight has been turned. It's been turned a couple of degrees. So rather than the apex pointing towards us, a flat edge of that hexagon is pointing towards us. Another point is where the pile of sand is bunching up in front of the one that's failing. The beginning of the wire, where it connects, where it's attached, it should be sand should be covering the wire. If you understand the physics of what it should look like. To me, it looks like they've pulled it at a downward angle and then lifted the wire up. And turning the weight puts more on the front edge.
So we always knew the answer to the question of moving the blocks would be simple, but I'm not sure anyone saw an answer this simple coming their way. In the past, scientists have theorized the heavy blocks may have been moved up and down while building the pyramids with basic tools like rope and wood. And what's really funny is that for so many years, the answer has been right at our fingertips. A wall painting found in one of the tombs shows a worker pouring water in front of the sled as people pulled. Till now, Egyptologists mistakenly interpreted the painting as depicting an Egyptian purification ritual with water, not revealing the technicalities of one of humanity's greatest architectural accomplishments.
Okay, little Miss Lego. For starters, let's look at the pyramid. You see down in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you see those 3 little sticks? They're all the way around the pyramid. That's where the edge of the pyramid used to come down to. So there's a lot missing. So how much do we really know? How much can we know? And then you've got looters and whatnot over the years. And then she's going to show us a picture of Egyptians pulling a great giant statue and tell us that they've worked this out. And the statue proves it. How does it prove it? If you ask me, it proves something else. Because if you look, you'll notice that that guy that's pouring the water, yeah, okay, let's say that they're right. What's missing? What's missing from the depiction of what goes into pulling the sled with a giant statue on it? No? Can't see it yet? It's probably because it's not there. Well, what's missing, guys, is the people smoothing out the sand and water. Because look how many people are walking before the statue, before the sled, disturbing the mud, the sand that's at this ratio. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's just pouring it. That's all he's doing, pouring it. I'd say that's oil, not water, if anything. And the reason I say if anything is because we don't know how long ago this was done. And you don't know whether or not it's new inhabitants after Babylon fell and after the flood. You don't know if these are new inhabitants, the Egyptians, who've taken over the place because it was empty, moving statues around. Like, it's got, that statue's got, if you haven't noticed, you see his throne that the statue, the giant is sitting on. It's a cow. Like, it's got like, its body cut out, it's just its legs, stomach line, and its tail, its bum. It's strange, isn't it? And you see the guy standing up there on his lap, clapping, keeping time. Well, it's not hard to see, but they've read into it, and obviously they've read the wrong way. Because you know what, if they poured oil or fat from animals, you know, heat it up, get it nice and hot, and then pour it. These guys end up on the 3 guys under the sled. They're probably bringing more canisters of oil. That's what they look like. So you'd have it hot, and as it cooled, it'd make it hard underneath, yeah? Because it wouldn't take long to cool. It'd cool almost instantly, wouldn't it? Well, that's what I'm seeing anyway. Moving on.
So it just goes to show, even the most complicated and mysterious of life's questions are sometimes staring you right in the face.
The pyramids of Egypt.
A phenomenon.
A mystery. Now that scientists are involved, the mystery has turned into a science streak. Hello, Internet. I'm William Haynes.
And I'm Joe Beretta.
Me too. Oh yeah, what is it? We're smart persons.
Yep.
I'm always surprised when scientists don't know stuff. What have y'all been doing for the last thousands of years?
Sitting on your ass?
I mean, yeah, you've been finding cures for diseases and developing new ways to make difficult things easier and generally discovering everything you can about the world around us. But what about those dang pyramids in Egypt?
They're important to me.
The ancient Egyptians had to move colossal statues and pyramid stones weighing about 2.5 tons using vast sleds across the hot desert without any types of modern technology.
For years, people speculated aliens were to be the reason why humans were able to move such large weights.
But now scientists have discovered that by adding water to sand, the grains begin to branch together.
Because of this, the sliding friction of any object moving over the surface of the sand greatly reduces.
Add a little lubrication and friction greatly reduces. This reminds me of the Wizard of Oz when the Tin Man needs oil.
He feels great after lubrication.
And you're smart people, so you can build a Lego house, I take it? Okay, scientists have found cures for diseases. Like what? Chemotherapy and cures, so-called cures like that. don't really kill people, do they? They're deadly. Just as bad, if not worse. And they work to find new ways to make difficult things easier. Really? Your whole life has been made difficult because of NASA's bull, science bull, magic crap. So, nothing's easier with these guys, mate. Be easier without them, I promise you. Was a literally discovering everything around us. Really? Really? Literally? Theoretically. So in other words, not. Okay. Anything important besides aliens? Or indoctrination? See, like, you guys, you're looking for the answers to things. And you just, oh yeah, aliens. Mate, 20, 25 years ago, you would have been the nut. It's crazy. And then when you started talking about Tin Man and oil and that, I thought you guys were onto it. So, maybe you guys have worked it out. Instead of doing what the other girl did and just following the meme. Okay, let's find out.
A highly diversified international team of scientists led by Daniel Bond from the University of Amsterdam evaluated the sand-water trick by pulling a weighted sled across the surface in a tray.
As they added water, subsequently the amount of force needed to pull the tray as well as the amount of friction decreased. Boop! Science! So you're telling me it wasn't aliens?
It was pure logic?
I'm a little disappointed. Am I wrong for being a little disappointed? Am I wrong for wanting more? I need more suffering.
I mean, how could it possibly be this simple and we just didn't know?
Nobody drew a dang hieroglyphic of a mother hugger throwing some water on some sand?
That would have saved us thousands of years of speculation if you ancients would have just had a little, foresight and would have just taken the time to properly historicate yourselves.
Inconsiderate.
Okay, wait just one moment.
What?
In this actual hieroglyphic, a person is seen pouring water onto the sand in front of a sled carrying a giant statue, clearly explaining the entire process.
Oh, you right. You right.
Guys, are you happy with this new explanation for the moving of stones to build pyramids?
Do you believe it was actually aliens?
Okay, there's nothing new there. Basically, all aliens, all conjecture, yeah. And, yeah, aliens. So, they came up with the same stuff. So they did ask the question, left it open. Basically, not really saying it is or not at the end. So, that's how they work. Total deniability. But anyway, so you guys don't have any real proof either. Well, I wonder if there is some out there. Well, I know for a fact there is. It's a lot easier than your guys' explanation.
4,000 years ago, Stone Age Britons raised this mysterious monument, Stonehenge. Nobody knows how they did it, how they moved and stood these massive stones. It's a scientific mystery.
Is it really? Well, not according to our good friend Jaron. He's found some great footage of them actually building Stonehenge. Apparently they say they're rebuilding it. But no, there's nothing marked out before they get there. So funny. And now there's mounds around the outside. You know how there's like a circle around the outside of it, and it's raised up a little bit. It's like a mound, goes all the way around the outside. That's where they put the dirt from the inside, from the holes. When they levelled it, pushed it all out to there, to a circle. And they cut away an entrance bit, so it was flat. There wasn't a mound there, so they could walk through. Yeah, exactly. So this was done like just over 100 years ago. It was done, a couple of years over. Well, actually, it might be not a couple of years over, around the exact time, because at this time people are at war. World war's going on, so there are not many people looking, not many people, whose eyes would be around. And it's obvious that it's for pagan worship. They say it is, but they say it's from thousands of years ago, pagans from thousands of years ago. But it's obviously not. So modern day pagans, only 100 years ago. And we know that. If you look here at the KK whatever's cloak, if you pay attention, you notice that it's the same shape as the inside. So the area that's missing, like the air, the empty space, in between the legs of the compass on the Mason's symbol, the compass and square symbol. If you look at that and you look at the empty space of the compass, it's the same as that. So it's the outline of that. So you can literally put someone standing in a cloak and insert it in there. Their arms would be down at the sides and their shoulders are sort of, come down, and the cloak comes down on an angle so it spreads out, sort of thing, like a triangle. Yeah, not many people have noticed that. So that's what Stonehenge is really about. So moving on, get back to the pyramids and how they built them, and if this theory of the water sand is really right, because I don't think so. Matter of fact, I know so.
His Flint, Michigan backyard to prove it. Wally Wallington's not a scientist, but he knows a thing or two about moving rocks.
That's a 300-pound block. This is a 1,600-pound block.
Okay, what's the definition of religion? A form of worship. It includes a system of religious attitudes, beliefs, and practices. These may be personal, or they may be advocated by an organisation. Usually, religion involves belief in God or in a number of gods, or it treats humans, objects, desires, or forces as objects of worship. Much religion is based on human study of nature. There is also revealed religion. There is true religion and false religion. Why are there so many religions? Recent tabulations concluded that there are 10 main religions and some 10 sects. Of these, some 6,000 exist in Africa, 1,200 in the United States, and hundreds in other lands. Many factors have contributed to the development of new religious groups. Some have said that various religions all represent different ways of presenting religious truth, but a comparison of their teachings and practices with the Bible indicates rather that the diversity of their religions is because people have become followers of men instead of followers of God. It is noteworthy that to a large extent teachings they have hold a common but that I'll say that again. It is noteworthy that to a large extent teachings that hold in common but that differ from the Bible originate in ancient Babylon. See pages 50 and 51. Babylon the Great. Who is the instigator of such religious confusion? The Bible identifies Satan, the devil, as the god of the system of things. 2 Corinthians 4:4. It warns us that the things which the nations sacrifice, they sacrifice to demons and not to God. 1 Corinthians 10:20. How vitally important then to make sure that we really are worshipping the true God, the creator of heaven and earth, and that our worship is pleasing to him. Are all religions acceptable to God? In Judges 10, 6-7 it says, the sons of Israel again proceed to do what is bad in the eyes of Jehovah. And they began to serve the Baals and the Ashtaroth's images, and the gods of Syria, and the gods of Sidon, and the gods of Moab, and the gods of the sons of Ammon, and the gods of the Philistines. So they left Jehovah and did not serve him. At this, Jehovah anger blazed against Israel. If a person worships anything or any person other than the true God, the creator of heaven, the earth, and it is evident that his form of worship is not acceptable to Jehovah. And in Mark 6-7 says, he, Jesus, said to them, the Jewish Pharisees and scribes, that is, the sorcerers, Isaiah aptly prophesied about you hypocrites, as it is written, this people honour me with their lips, but their hearts are far removed from me. It is in vain that they keep worshipping me, because they teach as doctrines commands of men, regardless of whom a group professes to worship. If they hold to a doctrine of men instead of inspired word of God, their worship is in vain. And in Romans 10:2 and 3, it says, I bear them witness that they have a zeal for God, but not according to accurate knowledge. For because of not knowing the righteousness of God, but seeking to establish their own, they did not subject themselves to the righteousness of God. People may have written words that lack accurate knowledge of what it contains, like the Bible, because they've not seen the truth, they've not been taught properly. They might feel that they have a zealous urge for God, but they probably aren't doing what He requires. So the worship is not going to please God, is it? It's not going to please Him at all. And if there's a right and a wrong way to go, and a right and a wrong way to get out of this system and into the next, which apparently is going to be great. That's the good news. Yeah, we might as well do it. Don't you think? Okay, is it true that there is good in all religions. Most religions do teach that a person should not lie or steal, and so forth. But is that sufficient? Would you be happy to drink a glass of poisonous water because someone assured you that most of what you were getting was water? I like that. In 2 Corinthians 11:14 and 15, it says, Satan himself keeps transforming himself into an angel of light. It is therefore nothing great if his ministers also keep transforming themselves into ministers of righteousness. So what that's saying is he keeps transforming himself into an angel of light, so pretending to be good. So what's such a big deal is it if people that are in a religion, how do you know that they're doing the right thing, or that they're not they're not ministering in a righteous way? Well, it's more than likely that's the case. And then it says here, we are cautioned that not everything that originates with Satan may appear hideous. One of his chief methods of deceiving mankind has been false religion of all kinds, to some of which he gives a righteous appearance. I'll read that again. Here we are cautioned that not everything that originates with Satan may appear hideous. One of his chief methods of deceiving mankind has been false religion of all kinds, to some of which he gives a righteous appearance. So he helps them to look righteous in the eyes of other people. And that's just through, everyone saying it basically, and like the Pope, all the vibe around him, people get sucked in. Second Timothy 3:2 and 5 says, men will be having a form of godly devotion, but proving false to its power and form. These turn away, regardless of their own outward professions of love for God, if those with whom you worship do not sincerely apply his word in their own lives. The Bible urges you to break off such association. So yeah, an association can just be watching TV, joining, subbing to people, signing up to things, to sites, and yeah, that's association. You don't have to be in the same room to associate with someone, and you can even associate with dead people because we have recordings and whatnot before they died. What is the Bible's viewpoint as to interfaith? How did Jesus view religious leaders who pretended to be righteous but disrespected God? Jesus said to them, if God were your Father, you would love me, for from God I came forth and am here. Neither have I come of my own initiative at all, but that one sent me forth. You are from your father the devil, and you wish to do the desires of your heart, of your father. that one was a manslayer when he began, and he did not stand fast in the truth, because truth is not in him. When he speaks a lie, he speaks according to his own disposition, because he is a liar and the father of the lie. Because I, on the other hand, tell you truth, you do not believe me. This is why you do not listen, because you are not from God. John 8:42 to 47. Beautiful, eh? So would it demonstrate loyalty to God and to his righteous standings if his servants, people who profess to be his followers, were to embrace in religious brotherhood? I don't think so. About those who themselves practice what God condemns, or who condone such practices even, not just saying, oh, it doesn't matter as long as it doesn't affect me, or as long as they're not hurting anybody. Heard those ones. It says in the Bible, Psalms 97:10, says, quit mixing in company with anyone called a brother that is a fornicator or a greedy person, or an idolater, or a reveler, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, not even eating with such men. Such man. Neither unnatural purposes, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor men kept from unnatural processes, nor men who lie with men, nor thieves, nor greedy persons, nor drunkards, nor revelers, nor extortioners will inherit God's kingdom. And that's 1 Corinthians 5:11. 6, 9, and 10. Adulteresses, you do not know that a friendship with the world is enmity with God. Whoever therefore wants to be a friend of the world is constituting himself an enemy of God. And that's James 4:4. Now I want to go to Psalms 97:10. O you lovers of Jehovah, hate what is bad. He is guarding the souls of his loyal ones. Out of the hand of the wicked ones, he delivers them. Light itself, this is 11, light itself is flashed up for the righteous one, and rejoicing even for the ones upright in heart. 12. Rejoice in Jehovah, O you righteous ones, and give thanks to his holy memorial. Now, there's one thing I know, is that you don't bash other religions. You know, you don't give other religions a hard time if you don't agree with them. It's a personal thing between you and God. It's good to have a congregation. We should congregate together. But we shouldn't bash other religions. It's okay to explain the faults and things, but you don't come against them and judge them in a way that you then sentence them, condemn them. Of course, we have to judge. That's the way we learn. It's the best way to keep guard. But it's when we turn around and instead of just taking the attribute and moral on that we learnt, turning around and giving our opinion in a degrading way or something, it's not a good thing. The things I know that the Bible says, the only things I really know that let me know not to, the definite things, that is, that make them singled out as these things. The reason I think that they're wrong, and Mormonism, is because God said himself, not God, I'd say he said it through others. It says in the Bible, even if an angel comes down from heaven and tells you something different than what's written in this book or in this scroll, don't you believe it. That's what it says. And both those religions are founded by people professing to have been shown this so-called truth, in quotation marks, by angels. Okay? And then it's moved on to the, it could have been aliens, of course.
Let's go back in time. How did the stars end up getting Arabic names? We have to go back 1,000 years to Islam. AD 800 to 1100. Oops, I can't use AD in this audience. So, CE. CE? Common Era? I don't have a problem with AD. It's just culture, right? I don't have an issue with that. I don't. I'm sorry, okay? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with saying, oh my God. I'm okay with that, all right? I like listening to Handel's Messiah, okay? I think it's beautiful music. So, but there's more about that. We'll get more in a minute. So, what happened in Islam? Islam, the crossroads. While Europe was disemboweling heretics in Baghdad over that period, were the crossroads. There were Jews, Muslims, Christians, doubters. They were, the word atheist didn't exist back then. They were all sharing ideas. Great advances were made in engineering, astronomy, mathematics. These three words are Arabic words: algebra, algorithm. Our numerals are called Arabic numerals. Those are the numerals we use. All traceable to that period because they basically invented algebra there. Okay? That went on until the 12th century. You read history books that say, oh, the Mongols sacked libraries in Baghdad, and there'll be explanations. What they tend to leave out was another force at work, and that was the efforts of this man, Al-Ghazali, who was a Muslim cleric, who was to Islam what St. Augustine was to Christianity. What he did was he took all these ways people were practicing Islam, put them together, codified it, said, this is what you need to do to be a good Muslim. Okay, just as what Augustine did, which included how to exactly burn the witches, that kind of thing. So it was all in there. It was all in there. And in there was the statement that manipulating numbers was the work of the devil. And that cut out the kneecaps of the entire mathematical enterprise of that period. Because he gained cultural power and political power with his philosophies. And you know something? Islam has not recovered from that since. And there have been times when it has risen to great cultural reform. In Spain, Islam rose to great cultural heights. No scientific or engineering discoveries in that period. It's tragic.
Okay, then we'll start with, we'll go through what he said. So, he's talking about their culture being crushed, or they're not really having a culture, and it's sad. If you notice, he's talking about how they, at the beginning, they were naming the planets and things after gods, naming them of their gods. what he says at the end here. He's talking about them not having technology and stuff, or making any scientific advances. Well, that would imply to me that they maybe had some way of getting their hands on the knowledge. If you look at the Bible, technology and that sort of knowledge is passed down, or was originally taught, like war and not good things, by the fallen angels and the Nephilim, their offspring. So maybe there was none around eventually, because they're obviously killed off. And if you're wondering what all the heads, or the bodies really, on Easter Island are, that's where they sort of ran away and hid. And they also hid in London, and it was called something else. And there weren't many on Easter Island. The statues were to keep away sailors. That's the Nephilim, and that coincides with the Vikings. And also, you see the technology and stuff, the knowledge. The Nephilim may have had it. There may not have been any fallen angels, and there probably wasn't, because the fallen angels were probably sorted in the flood. They probably all jumped in a body and, only die once. And then the second death is forever, if you have to, receive it. But, he's saying that, they named the constellations and all that sort of stuff, and named them after the gods and whatever. False gods. So, if you are following along with the other videos I'm putting out, you'll notice a bit of a pattern. Magic and sorcery and all that sort of stuff. Numbers and science, physics, quantum physics. Like I was saying about double slit experiment. I say that because of that experiment, because of the outcomes, they say that they come up with things like, if a tree falls in the wood and there's no one there to hear it, does it make a sound? And also they say things like there's all these different universes and whatever. But yeah, I don't think so. It makes everything possible too, but it doesn't. It just, as far as I'm concerned, it was probably just the electrical field or magnetic field that was being emitted from the detector, interfering with the particles as it was switched on and off, because not the act of it just being there, but the act of it actually being switched on and off. They couldn't fool it or anything like that. So there is two possibilities. It doesn't just have to be, it's thinking or whatever they officially say it is. But yeah. And he's talking about the burning of the witches and whatever. Yeah, that's because I was speaking out against their religion and showing them how, sorry, but it clashes with the Bible. Yet you're saying that it backs the Bible up and all this sort of stuff, and they're basically one book. It's a continuation, like a second testament, a third testament. Not a New Testament, but...
How many Muslims in the world? There's 1.3 billion. Billion. Let's do some analysis. The Nobel Prize, 1900 to 2007. Okay? Let's take a look at how many Nobel Prizes were won by the Jews. How many Jews are in the world? 15 million tops? Let's take a look. During natural sciences, of course. Biomedical chemistry, physics, economics. 25%, 1/4 of all Nobel Prizes in the sciences have gone to Jews. I saw two people in the back going a high five back there. The Jews did not invent the high five, okay? I just want to make that clear. Let's understand that one, okay? Do something else. Just no, we're happy to share the high five with you. So, let's look at practicing Muslims. Are you ready? Here we go. 0, 0, 1, 1. In fact, the one in physics was a Pakistani Muslim, not a Middle Eastern Muslim. And if you count economics as a science, it's like 1, 1.5, 2. 0.3% of the total. You want to look at the relative impact? Relative impact, here it goes. The Jews have won 80 times more Nobel Prizes than the Muslims, and they are 1/80th of that population. That would be 6,400 times the impact. I lament, I celebrate the Jews, but I lament what might have been discovered had 1.3 billion Muslims had the cultural drive to discover as what happened 1,000 years ago. If that had been the case, they'd have every Nobel Prize. If that tradition had continued, but it is gone. It's not there. And that is a loss to the world, especially given the legacy that it enjoyed 1,000 years ago. So I fast forward to the United States of America, early 21st century, and I ask what forces are operating to somehow squash our scientific curiosities, and then you find billboards like this. The Big Bang Theory, you've got to be kidding, signed God. Okay. Now maybe we should be impressed that somebody actually spent money to pay for the billboard. Well, here's one. Here's a bumper sticker. This one is more sort of an intelligent design bumper sticker. It says, the Big Bang Theory, God spoke, and bang, it happened. So that puts God like right before the Big Bang, where we have no clue.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so he's really bashing over everybody. He's giving everyone a real hard time. Yeah. So he's having a go at professed Christians, I'll say, in quotation mark, where this man thinks he gets his intellect from. It's just amazing. But what's worse, everyone sucks it up, soaks it up like sponges, and they believe it, giggle along, you know, high-fiving because they're Jews and all this sort of stuff. It's oppression, you know, because they're Jews. Okie dokie. It's horrible. But I'll tell you something I know about the Jews. In the Bible, they paid Judas, after Jesus died, went back to the temple, threw the money into the temple on the floor, said he wanted nothing to do with it, went and killed himself, committed suicide. Not many people know that, or not many people remember that. It's not told that much, but it's there. So what did they do? They used that money to purchase the land that they tortured him to death on. This was given 30 gold pieces, and the land cost 30 gold pieces. And when the guards came to them, and they said, well, cherubs came down and rolled the stone away from the front of the cave, smashed it apart like nothing. And they told them what had actually happened. The Jews told them to not say anything, to say that his apostles came in the night and stole him. And if anyone asks, then they'll back them up. And they paid them as well. And you must remember, at the very beginning of all that, not the very beginning, but just after the beginning, I should say, Pontius Pilate washed his hands that Jesus wasn't the Messiah. Okay? So yeah, if you want to know what is the hidden things behind it, stuff they don't want you to know, stuff they don't want you to study, well, that's basically the whole... Yeah, they take the Bible and try and marry it with science. And no, the Bible proves all things, not the other way around. It's good for teaching, reproving, setting matters straight. It's not for being proved by something else. If that was the case, then yeah, okay, it's wrong. but it's not. And it explains that point. That it is the one that will be the authority on everything. Okay? So, people that go around saying, oh, look, science has proved the Bible right again. You know how that sounds? It's hypocrisy. Straight up. So yeah, gotta be careful what you listen to. Make sure you know the truth. And if you don't have anything to do with it except for looking into it to see if it is real or if it's true. The things you shouldn't look into, the Bible explains. Tells you what not to look into. Tells you not to look into divination, which is palmistry and reading stars and, you know, ghosts and all this crap. And it goes for the universe too. Because it's in your imagination. It's not real. So, if you know what I'm saying, it's the same thing. Okay? And if you believe that the sun is what is in control, and that it nurtures the planet and it does everything. If it wasn't for the sun, we'd be flying through space, a frozen block and all dead. That sort of stuff, yeah. So that is sun worship without even knowing. That's the worst thing about religions at the moment. They're not looking at things with a rational eye. They're not being critical like the Bible tells them to. But we need to be. We have to be, guys. So please be diligent. Go with God. Pray to Him. Don't pray in the Holy Trinity. Just say, in the name of Jesus Christ, please accept my prayer. Amen. That's all you have to do at the end. And try using His name. Keep it personal. And like I said in my last video or a few videos ago, a couple or whatever, Jehovah God can't help you unless you ask. Because if He helps you without you asking, He's doing it against your free will. And He promised not to do that. Okay? He's only going to do that once, and He's only going to do it to people that make it to the end in full denial. Like it says in the Bible, you only need a mustard grain of faith. But that does not mean you only need a mustard grain of faith in God, that He's real. Well, just a little bit. Doesn't mean that. It means you only need a mustard grain of faith to believe, in believing that it's all real. Everything the Bible says is real. God's real. Everything He said, everything He's done, everything He says He's going to do, it's all real. And you need a mustard grain of faith in believing that, but you need to believe all of it. And you don't need to believe it in a way where you have any more proof than the Bible provides. Because you need more than that, you're not going to find it. The only place you can find more proof than that is in prophecy. Prophecies to come, and the prophecies that have come. The ones that are coming will show us and reinforce, and the prophecy. The prophecies also come from the Bible, so of course it originates back there. Just watch for the prophecies. If you don't know what they are, I'll just go through them. There's only a few left in another video. But yeah, just gotta watch for them and basically just tick them off. And yeah, like it says, no one will know the day or the hour. Doesn't say anything about the month or the year. Okay, why? Probably because things like the blood moon or something. I don't know, but it doesn't say that we won't know the day, the year or the month. It says we won't know the day or the hour. And a lot of people read the Bible and they see where it says, oh, there's going to be great earthquakes in one place and in another, and in diverse places and all this sort of stuff, and all these famines and bad things are going to happen. But you need to realise that it doesn't say God is going to cause these things to happen. Okay? When God does something, or when He's going to do something, and it's written in the Bible, He puts His name to it. He lets you know that He's the one performing it. Or if it's done by one who's under His service, then that's let known too. But remember, it always comes back to being Jehovah's will. No matter who brings the message or anything like that. But that won't be happening now. That has stopped. But the Bible is bringing the message now. The messages. The prophecies. We just got to watch out for them. Okay? Okie dokie. Love yous all.